deserted. Besides a few security people, I guess, who are having breakfast at the moment. Counters are all closed. Makes sense why the KLM one is. After all, their flight just departed. Looks like there's some sort of shop in here, but it's also closed. Oh, what's this over here? Let's take a look. Inside, but they do have a lounge on the outside here. Very Alec. Pretty cool. Kiss and Fly section. You know, not too shabby, honestly, for a small airport. Pretty cool. A lot of power outlets. Yeah, can't complain. What a cool little airport. Take a look at this. In your little house, open into the garden, you've got your Scandinavian ship there. Of course, not many flights today. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, not including the KLM flight that just left. They do have a lounge, so I was wrong on that. That's called the UIA lounge, different from the one outside security. Speaking of security, I was randomly selected, but totally fine. Such a quick process. Yeah, you got a little lounge. I think this is going to be a common trend for our flights throughout Scandinavia. We're not really going to be able to get into lounges outside the major airports. And technically, we're already several hours early with this one. And then I guess when they have international flights, do they even operate internationally? They've got a customs border here and a tax-free, so that's cool. A little bit more stuff over there. Not shabby. And then there's a little convenience store and food bar here, which we'll take a look at here.
All right, I'm going to be honest. I really appreciate the pricing in these point stations at the airport. Like, this is the same pricing I would get at any gas station in Norway. So the fact that it's beyond security and it's still the same price while expensive is really nice. It's a good service.
Heard a lot about Norwegian tacos, so obviously if I still had a taco wrap, I had to get one lime candy bar and a Gatorade. All in, I think it's about $15, which, to be honest, is pretty reasonable for an airport. And honestly, I haven't spent money in an airport in a long time. All right, Norwegian taco. Here goes nothing. It's all right.
So after that relaxing massage, I headed over to the quote-unquote lounge and checked out our aircraft, which is just sitting there. Before laying down, deciding to get some rest. I technically hadn't really slept this night. You know, I had a little bit of rest on that train, but it wasn't much. So really taking advantage of the fact that I could just lay down for a bit. And I woke up to us boarding. So quickly hopped outside, and as you can see, it is absolutely pouring. Not a fan whatsoever of walking in the rain. Yeah, really, really terrible. And then there was a queue to get on the plane. People weren't rushing on. Like, come on, hurry up. There's people in the rain, namely me. Bye. Welcome to Bergen Airport. So we got about a 5-hour layover here. There is one lounge, the Bergen Lounge, which is available to international flights, and you can access it with your standard status, business class of certain airlines, and annoyingly, American Express credit cards issued in the Scandinavian countries. So my American Express from the United States does not count. Can't even just show the card to get in. Like, you have to use this app that's only available to Scandinavian card holders. Super annoying. Now, I didn't know this, but there's only one way in here. So I managed to find a way for me to enter the lounge. We'll leave it at that. But what I didn't realize is you have to go back through security once you leave the lounge if you want to go to the domestics again. Did not know that, and that is going to come back to bite us. But take a look at this cool view. I would hang out there if I didn't have lounge access, but I do have lounge access. So let's go upstairs into the lounge. Now, there's only one comprehensive review on this lounge out there, and it's by my friends at the Flight Club Italy. Highly recommend checking out their content. They are really great. But the lounge overall is pretty nice. Decent amount of seating options, a pretty basic buffet, but end of the day, like, you don't need that much, especially for a small European airport. Bathrooms, but no showers. Anyways, we're about 40 minutes out from our flight boarding, so let's head back to our gates. Bear in mind, 40 minutes should be plenty of time. Alright, it was about this point that I realized I had messed up. I'm in the unsecured part of the airport.
Well, security took a ridiculous amount of time. 8 minutes till departure. I'm sure my flight is closed. It has to be closed.
Yeah, it was. So I thought 40 minutes was going to be plenty of time. Turns out it wasn't. Boarding started 15 minutes prior to departure, so it was pretty much closed instantly. Like, people got on and they shut it down. There was nobody even here, and I was there like 10 minutes after boarding was supposed to start. I think it was 12 minutes actually. So super annoying.
All right, so the last 40 minutes have been a real adventure. Apparently when you leave the lounge, you have to go back through security to get to domestics. Didn't realize that, but I should have had enough time. Got to security like 10 minutes prior to boarding. Should be enough for a domestic flight. But they kept rerunning my bag through security again and again. So I missed my flight. I got there 12 minutes after boarding started, which is too little for a flight like this. But I was told, hey, to get an automated text message and they'll rebook you. I'm like, I have a 5-hour connection. Like, this was a mistake of my own. We'll see. Well, I just chatted with them. They rebooked me on to the next flight, which leaves at 5:35. The advantage of that is gets in at 6:05, probably a little earlier. My next flight leaves at 7, which means it'll board 6:15. I won't get much time in Haugesund, but we're still going to get there, which is really good because it's pretty expensive to book a last-minute flight. But the icing on top that makes me go, okay, this is pretty nice. They sent me a food voucher. They need to send me a food voucher. That's pretty cool.
Alright, here I am with my $15 worth of free food. Pretty happy with that hot dog. Got another Gatorade, and we got a Damer chocolate bar.
Ja, see you again.
Kind of cool. All right, so actually pretty cool. It dumped you right out. There's no opportunity to transfer, but that's fine because there's gonna be a security line or anything crazy. Just go over here and re-enter the airport. And our plane hasn't even landed yet, technically. So let's get some pictures of the countryside, and we'll just get right back on the next plane. Right back on the next one.
So the airport was pretty small, but it was packed. They had several options for food here. They had another point snack bar, and then they had a food bar type thing. I don't know what that was exactly. I think it's like a fast food restaurant. But look at that board. It's modern. Like, this is a really nice small airport. And I think we're starting to notice a trend here in Norway. They have really nice airports, even if they're super tiny.
And just like that, we are back on the tarmac already. Except we got a bit of a bigger jet bridge.
You need to get that too. Actually, I had a white. Hello. Welcome. The doors in the first seat for the next seat for our baggage and those items must be stored in the overhead compartment.
And just like that, we're back at Oslo Airport. Now, most of these flights are going to be really quick. Like, they're going to do a quick run through with water and tea and coffee and do a meal for the plus class. Like, there's really not much going on.
We need to quickly hop out, go grab the rucksack, recheck it in. Should be fine. Not anticipating any issues. Yeah, just a real quick one. Try to get some quick food in the lounge after. Alright, just checked the bags. Well, what a story. So my locker got locked when I was taking one of the things out. It wouldn't let me back in. So I was about to be screwed. And some other people came along, and then they were able to unlock my locker by buying another locker, which I had tried already, and I got a different one. Huge mess. Just checked my stuff. It was free. Had to split it apart, but that's fine. I was told I had to pay 15 NOK for the plastic bags. Honestly, not a bad price. I just hope the outstations have them, because if they don't, then that's going to be a problem if I tear these up. So I'll have to try to keep these intact for the most part. Yeah, I'm gonna head to the security now. Try to get a quick bite at the lounge. Airport's kind of deserted at 8 o'clock here, but it doesn't feel like 8 whatsoever. We got about 35 minutes before we got to catch our flight, so let's go get a quick bite to eat.
Now, I won't lie, the food options were a little limited at the lounge. I've got this Thai noodle salad, and then some potato salad and salmon with corn strewed all over it. The domestic lounge is pretty basic, but this is going to be home for a while, so I might as well get used to it. They do have beer and some other alcohol on tap, which is really nice because alcohol is insanely expensive in Norway, so we'll be sure to take advantage of that in the future. Alright, so been here for probably about an hour. Haven't had any issues yet. It won't be another flight until noon. Now, I don't know how well I'm gonna do this, but yeah, I'll have to figure this out for the next airport I go to and make sure that I have a little better planned out, because I had a better spot, but it was just so soggy that it wasn't gonna work. Luckily, this one isn't too bad.
Well, good morning from the field right next to the Aalesund airport. Yesterday was a bit of a mess. Technically this morning, got here just about midnight. There's a little hotel off to the side here, but it's automated and you can't check in after midnight for that night. So it wasn't an option. We're on an island, so there's basically nothing else. Thought about rental cars, didn't work. Of course, I had a plan coming into this, and it was a field over there. Really good concealment. Unfortunately, that just didn't end up panning out because the field was super muddy, super soggy. I immediately knew it was still no. My boots are still a little damp from that exploration. So I started to walk this way after checking out the little hotel there, seeing I wasn't able to book it. I saw this little clump of trees, one big tree and some little ones. And I thought, this is perfect concealment, as long as it's not muddy. It wasn't muddy, so set up the tent here last night. Got really cold, but the ground is bumpy, and so as a result of that, I didn't set up my air mattress, so I didn't have any insulation protecting me from the ground. Ended up rectifying that by using my camping quilt as my base layer, and then took out my spare blanket and put it on top of me. And it was fine. Felt really sunny this morning, so I warmed up really quick. It's only 61 degrees though, so pretty surprising. As you can see, the tent is in really good concealment. I honestly didn't expect anybody to see me unless they actively patrolled or saw me coming in. So now the game plan is I did book the hotel because I'm here for a couple days. I'm not sure what it's going to be like. Also, the island is far away from the main town, so I knew that if I didn't book a hotel here, it would become a problem. I'm thinking about doing a rental car as well, and the reason for that is because, well, while we're on the island, we're not actually exploring anything, and we have several days here since it's a weekend. And so I think the best move is to rent a rental car, drive out and explore. Go ahead and break down the tent now. I'm ready to check into the place. Gotta be honest. Or they shoot shotguns off or some sort of weapon off when they're about to have a flight come in or out. It's pretty cool. So yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and get us broken down. We'll carry the gear into the hotel. The Aalesund airport. It's been about 24 hours since I arrived now. First half was definitely a bit rough. Won't lie. Honestly though, I think, which is a little bit more scouting, which is tough when you're carrying a 60-pound pack. I think I could have been a little better prepared, a little more comfortable for the night.